Good week so far. Let me know how y'all week is in the chat. But good evening, good evening, good evening. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had a little technical difficulties. Had to call Miss Joni, real quick to get some more tech issues. But I'm gonna go ahead and read on the chat. I know we got the guest speaker coming on today. She's going to talk about mental wealth and wellness. So when she got this video, she want to show you guys too. So when she do that, I'm gonna give her the floor, and then we just want her basically have the full wrestle night. But I'm gonna go ahead and just get to the chat and just see how everybody doing in the chat. I know I saw Cam. What's up, Cam? What's up, Zion? What's up, Bree? What's up, Antonio? What's up, Sydney? How you guys doing? What's up? What's up? How you doing, Yolanda? What's up, Donovan? What's up, Gemma? How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yes, it is Winning Wednesday, Yolanda. It is Winning Wednesday. Yo, I'm so excited. This is my last week on school. Next week is spring break, so y'all know I get to come home. Finally, I haven't been home in a while, so I finally went to come home for about just for a week. But at least I go home, so I'm happy about that. After that, cross country season coming back up, so cross country's getting in the weight room. So we're doing a little bit more with the weight room with them. So yeah, that's coming back up. I'm happy about that. The basketball season coming to an end. It's March Madness. My girls go off tomorrow for the conference championships. So wish them the best of luck. Wish them the best of luck. But how's everybody? I was feeling. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody feeling? I know we got our guest speaker to coming in. So our guest speaker, she should be here any minute too. Let me see. Is that Miss Janine?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Miss Janine, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I am well. I am well. I'm trying to get over a cold, so excuse my congestion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
So,
Well, how was your day? How has your week been? Welcome to just the Heart Smiles. A lot of people's in the chat as well. I'm Coach Johnson. I'm 20 years old. I'm have my own business called Mentoring Through Basketball Change Lives. When I started when I was 16, I was a head coach at Method and Henson for the girls basketball team. And I basically started my business to give youth an outlet, for when they have like mental health problems, like things such as like dealing with like depression or anxiety or like the bipolar or like being shadowed behind like a bigger brother or bigger sister, things like that. So, I started my business just to give youth an outlet to come and, have basically time to let their emotions out and stuff like that. So that's just for me. You can introduce yourself to everybody here. Everybody really know me for real, but
yeah, so thank you so much, Coach Johnson. I
no.
am Miss Janine or Miss G, whichever folks are comfortable using. And I'm a consultant with Black Mental Health Alliance. I've been with them for maybe about a year now.
Mhm.
However, prior to when I was a community school coordinator, Miss Nia had helped out with some mental health discussions at the school that I was working at. And so I served as community school coordinator. Prior to that, I studied social work at University of Maryland School of Social Work. So I got my MSW from there. And my goal has just really been to support the mental health and wellness of people, period, but particularly within the Black community, helping to address those issues that sometimes plague us as Black people that really do hinder our mental health and wellness, naming it, but also like countering the narrative so that we can heal ourselves through the power of community conversations.
Mhm.
So that's really, what I have. That's what I do. And I'm learning and growing. And so even though I'm here as a guest, I really believe in bi-directional learning and that
Mhm.
everyone can, teach each other and we can all learn from one another. So although I'm a guest, I really am excited to also learn from all of you today. So
Oh
yes.
yes, yes, yeah. Because the youth we have, they're brilliant. I mean, really intelligent. We learn something every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You learn something from the heartbeats.
I know.
But no, it's basically, like you said, you are our guest speaker today. So you have the floor. I'll be here, my camera on, but you have the floor. Basically, you can, start your presentation and everything.
Okay. And just to share my screen, I just clicked the
Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back out. Yeah, you click the share screen button. It has like a computer with the arrow in the middle of it.
okay.
There we go.
Little window. Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Hmm, Is my screen up?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and play it from the beginning. Let's see, play. I was telling somebody you would think after like 2 years of doing everything virtual, I would be a master at it.
Right, right. Everybody had that PhDs in computer technology, right?
Yes. All right, awesome. All right, so it's going to be difficult to see you all. However, I just wanted to put this up so we can just kind of walk through together. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Black Mental Health Alliance. And Coach Johnson,
Yeah,
since I won't be able to see folks, is as people maybe put stuff in the chat, would you be able to just kind of like
yeah,
shout it?
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. I can see the chat right here. And I'll definitely, if I see any questions or comments or concerns, I'll definitely know. I'll be able to step in and let you know about it.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Awesome.
So, as I said, I'm with Black Mental Health Alliance, and some of you might be familiar because I know a few of you are with Haya. And so, Black Mental Health Alliance was founded in 1984, and the goal really was to, by Dr. Maxie T. Collier and many others a part of his team, was to create culturally relevant and appropriate approaches to support the mental health and wellness for the Black community because it really was being unaddressed and it was being neglected. And so that was really what they decided to do, and that is how it has grown over the past, like 40 years. Currently, we're under the executive directorship of Ms. Andrea Brown, and she has served as a director over various projects with the NAACP. The purpose of this slide was to highlight that Black Mental Health Alliance has partnered with B City as well as the Association of Black Psychologists on a couple of things. And so one of those things was around community conversations where we were elevating the topic of something called sawubona. How many of you are familiar with the term sawubona?
I have not heard of that, but
How many of you are familiar with Ubuntu?
I mean, this is sound like something my dad would know because he's all about the Black mental health
Okay.
line and stuff like that. So this is something he would probably know. I'm studying psychology in my in my university, so
Okay.
this is this would be interesting for me too.
Yeah, so Sawubona, we're gonna watch a clip a little bit later, and it really just speaks to about honoring the humanity. And so we have partnered of each other, right? And I think when that is the foundation of our interactions with people, we'd be surprised how like things can transform. And so we did partner with Association of Black Psychologists last year on some community conversations where we were talking about Sawubona, and they had started Sawubona circles on their own during the heightency of the pandemic because they noticed that there were Black individuals who were first responders who just were being neglected and had things that needed to be elevated and discussed that wasn't being discussed. And so we had received also a grant from B City to implement these community conversations last year, where we were talking about the many different ways that sometimes Black folks might feel unseen, but we allowed the power of community conversation to help us counter that narrative.
And I like
So,
that you touched on. You said when Black people be unseen.
mhm,
That's one of my things I like. That's one of my things I open my business up to. You know, being a shadow of somebody else, or not being able to speak up for yourself. So, but definitely understand it can relate to that the aspect right there as well.
absolutely, absolutely. So before we actually get started, I did want us to maybe do something called present centered living. And just in full transparency, as I have gone on my own journey towards healing my own mental health and wellness. This was something that came up in one of my therapy sessions. And so I was hoping that maybe we could all hold space together. I know some of you have been at the Healing City Conference earlier today. Some of you were hosting, and some of you are just probably moving and shaking throughout the day. So I just wanted us to come together and just kind of plant ourselves and center ourselves. So with present centered living, and for some of you are familiar with it, you run through your senses, right? And so you name 5 things that you can hear, but I also added are able to hear because the are able to speaks to the infinite possibilities beyond where you are. How many of you have found yourselves in like a rut for the day and you just feel like you might not have any hope or things seem like it's not going to turn around, but there always still is hope? So I wanted to invite you all to maybe even put in the chat 5 things that you can hear or are able to hear.
Definitely. And can I start off with that myself?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, so 5 things I'm able to hear is I'm gonna be honest, these grades at this university, I can hear them. They is talking to me. But I can hear the youth looking up to me.
Mm,
More as like yesterday I was on the phone with one of my friends and we were talking about one of the girls back at Matthew and Henson, and how they was doing and stuff. And I was just like, she came a long way. Like when I
mm,
first met her into what she is now, she came a long way. So I guess you can say like I can hear them like basically looking up to me, if that makes sense.
beautiful.
In reality. I can hear my parents, saying they're proud of me, for me basically, making it out of Baltimore City, going to college, being a black man I am, being successful.
Yes.
Fourth thing, um, I can hear myself telling myself to keep pushing and
Mm,
don't give up.
pow-
And what I mean by that is like, whatever you're going through, and like, or however you wake up on the bed, what side of the bed you wake up on, keep pushing and don't give up. Right.
yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and sometimes you might get tired and it's okay to take a nap, but we ain't going to sleep for the rest of the night. We gotta get back up. We gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going.
I love
Um, and hmm, my fifth thing. Oh, my fifth thing is I can hear people talking about me when I don't even know them, and not
it.
even saying like talking about me in a bad way, but basically talking about me and bringing me up, speaking about me in a room full of opportunities when I'm not there.
Yeah.
So like, say for instance, if I'm in a meeting with a bunch of executive committees from a board member at my school, and somebody's like, oh well, Shalard Johnson, he's a great for this position, he's great for this position. I've been getting a lot of that more often. A lot of people been talking about me, put my names into room full opportunity. So
Yes.
that is one I can really hear. I like to hear about that one.
Beautiful.
And you said add one more. You said add one what I can hear.
Yes. So it can either be what you can hear or are able to hear. So either or.
Okay. Um, what I'm able to hear is that I'm going to be successful in life.
Yes. I love that.
No matter how hard I think that life is at the moment,
Hmm.
and how hard school and mental health and just being a black individual in
Hmm.
today's society, especially being a male. Knowing that I can hear myself being successful, like I can see myself doing something by 25 years old, by 26 years old. This Joni always tell me, Miss Morgan always tell me, all the Heart Smiles mentors, and just basically, by me in being in college, and taking the steps that I need for the right education, not to be, street smart, but also book smart as
Hmm.
well, and also, have that under my belt as a black male in today's society, and then from Baltimore, Maryland as well, just to have everything under my belt, I can just hear that I can be successful. Yeah.
Powerful, powerful. And I love how you incorporated like you took into what was just shared, like what you are able to, right? So it doesn't have to be literal, it can be completely abstract, right? Like for me, one thing that I can acknowledge that I'm able to hear is the voice of God. And that's, according to my faith, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think that it's important like for people to know that it's not just like the physical, because we acknowledge that sometimes people might have maybe challenges where their hearing is impaired, but it speaks to the infinite possibility. So, what about four things that you can see or are able to see? And I'll
Okay.
invite
Yeah,
folks, whether you want to share or anybody in the chat as
yeah,
well.
we got one in the chat too. Karen was like, she said, Karen Moses was like, I can hear the vents, the keys when I type. My little brother been excited to see me when I return from spring break. I can hear the wind outside and my professor's lecturing.
Beautiful,
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 beautiful.
beautiful.
Now go to the four things that I can see.
Yes.
Okay. I can see, I can see this live. I can see Miss Janine in the PowerPoint in the chat. I can see my ring light in the background. Um, I can see this homework I got to do as I get up to see him right beside me.
Mm,
I can see that too. But I
mm,
didn't want to say that, but I can see that one too. Um, what else? What else? What else? I can see this. I can see the book 3,000 Questions About Me. Got that book. That's three things. And the fourth thing is I can see me finally get some eat. I haven't ate since 12 o'clock this afternoon. So I
oh
can
my goodness.
see. I know I be busy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They be my busiest days.
You gotta take care of
Busiest
yourself
days.
though. You gotta put that on your
No,
calendar.
I know. Eating for me is like when I eat because I really don't be eating. I really don't be eating. Then when I sleep, I sleep.
You sleep.
Yeah, I
Do you
sleep.
get tired after you eat?
I used to, but it's like when I be eating, I'm already doing something that I can't get tired. Like if I like, I'll eat when I do homework or something, or I'll eat while I'm watching TV. So I won't be able to go to sleep after.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have somebody in the comments.
Okay.
Kaja, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Miss Davis, I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna say if I'm saying your name right. Miss K Davis. She was like, I can hear the door open into my success, and I can see
Mm.
change coming. Yes, we like
Woo.
that. We
I
like that. We
love
like
that.
that. These are
I
some good jewels we dropping in the chat right now.
Yes, I love that. I love it. And may those doors continue to echo, not just for you, but for everybody. And that
Mhm.
is my hope that everybody will like hear the doors of success opening in their lives too.
And then so like I said, like Miss Jody saying, success. You got to put the work in for it.
Mm,
It's not an overnight thing. It's not success rice. Not your little thing you
mm,
put in the microwave with your little hot water. But you got to put the work in. You
true.
got to put the work in. Got to put the work in.
All right. So what about three things that you can smell or are able to smell?
Mm. Okay. Uh, that's a good one. Three things I'm able to smell. I mean, I can smell this cologne I bought from the mall the other day. I mean, I can smell that.
Okay.
Um, I can smell peppermint because I have a
Mm,
peppermint diffuser in my room. It's
yes.
over there. Um, I don't know what's the third thing.
And that's okay if
Yeah.
you're not. But the goal also is to acknowledge that there is something.
Yeah. Okay. I like this activity. I do. I really do. I like this one activity.
Cool,
I like
cool,
this
cool.
one.
And you can reverse it. It doesn't have to always start off with five things you can hear. It could be five things you can smell, or
Right.
you can mix it up however you need to.
Okay.
Um, what about two things that you can touch or are able to touch? And remember, it doesn't have to always be tangible. It can be abstract.
Okay. One thing I can touch is my future.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is I'm in control of my future, you
yes,
know. So my actions could help me in my future or could potentially affect me in my future.
yes.
So I can touch my own future because I am the person who's making my future.
Mm,
That's one. Two, I can touch my future, but two, I can also touch success and greatness. I can touch, by not being a statistic of the black male that ends up in jail or dead, or in and out of jail, or paying, unbearable fines from the court system and things like that. So, those are my two things I can touch. And one thing, I'm gonna say two things I can't touch, but one thing I want to touch
mhm,
is, this might sound, this is absurd, but one thing I want to touch basically, I want to touch my other side of me.
mhm,
And what I mean by that is, like, I know there's another side of me. Like,
mm.
I know I can kick it to another gear, but it's just like, it's taking time and I want to see what it is. I want to touch it. I want to be able, because like, I want to see who I can be. I want to touch who I can be in like 3, 4 years now from now. Like once I graduate college, I want to do that. I want to touch that.
I love that. So because it speaks to like it's intention setting. And
Mhm,
so I think that would be good to even incorporate into something like
mhm,
this.
mhm.
So I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Cam said in the chat, she said, "I can touch the door to that luxury hotel for that vacation when I don't have to work."
Yes.
Amen. Go ahead, Cam. And when you touch those doors, touch it again. Make sure you put the gloves on because it's
Right.
cold. But touch it again for me. I need to touch it again for me. Um, and I can touch the door to my car. Okay, I like that one too.
Powerful. Well, thank you so much, Coach Johnson, for just
Welcome.
taking the time to walk through this and everybody else in the chat as well. And so I hope that at some point when you find yourself in a rut, or even when you don't, you can be intentional with this present centered living. Because sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of our day that, it's important to take the time to just be present and to center ourselves. This has been helpful for me when I'm like stuck in traffic. I don't know if people are driving, or I know some people might be, but for me sometimes it can be frustrating, so this has been helpful for me. All right, so this is something, can you all still see the screen, the folks in the chat?
I mean, on my end, I can just see Black Mental Health Alliance for Education and Consulting Incorporation, founded in 1984.
Oh, okay. So it's not moving through. So let me see.
I think your screen might be frozen.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, because I'm on a live too, and it still it shows that on the live as well on YouTube.
okay. All right. So I'm gonna try to go out of it and let's see what I can do. I apologize for that,
No,
folks.
no, no worries, don't worry. You know, we all have technical issues. Before I even got on here, I was having technical issues, and
Okay.
like you said earlier, you would think we would have PhDs in this by now, right? You know,
Right. Okay.
crazy. This Zoom and everything.
So um let's try this. Okay. So what about now?
Yep,
You can see
yep.
it?
Four
Okay.
agreements of courage, courageous conversation.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm wondering if the folks, okay, I think they probably can see it too. So let's just share it and let's see what it'll, okay. All right, we're gonna just do the slideshow and then we should
Cool.
be good to go from there.
Yep. There we go.
Awesome. So, the purpose of the four agreements of courageous conversation. How many of you have found yourselves in tough conversations? Things get really heated, they get uncomfortable, and you completely check out, or you're like, I don't understand what's happening here, right? Um, and so, the whole purpose of this is to just kind of have some kind of like lay a foundation, not even just as a group, but for ourselves individually, especially as we come throughout like a busy day. So I came across this when I was a student at the School of Social Work with the Positive School Center. And one of the things that they introduced was during before tough conversations was identify and acknowledge at least one agreement four of the four agreements of courageous conversation you're going to personally hold on to as the conversation and the time together goes along. So I would just invite people to maybe put in the chat which one of these or two or all of them that you would want to hold on to throughout the space together.
The the four, okay, so mine's is okay. What I would say what mine's is what I've been experiencing recently is discomfort. I've been having a lot of more heated conversations, and it's not. I wouldn't even say heated conversations. I would say the conversations will get, a little bit discomfortable because it's two different people with two totally different mindsets, two totally different states. Parents two raised two totally different ways. So when you come up, when a situation that happens, and one person say one situation from one perspective, and the other sees the other perspective, then that's when heads are start to bunch in, and everybody will have a discomfort on what that perspective is on their side, and how they was raised, and what my perspective is on my side, and how I was raised, and the mindset comes into play with that as well. Having a fixed mindset and versus by having that growth mindset, not having a fixed mindset where as though somebody can you don't want to listen to nobody, whatever you was raised and how you was raised and how your mindset was basically when you got here is how you gonna stick with you're not basically willing to grow anymore. You're not trying to find your way into it. That's
Mhm.
having a fixed mindset. But then we have that growth mindset. You're kind of more listening to be able to listen to people when they having conversations. To basically control yourself and control your anger, but also being able to be coachable as well when having those tough conversations, because you have to listen to every perspective, because it's always a two-way, it's always a two-sided street when it's a conversation like that.
Yes.
So definitely experience discomfort is be one.
Mhm.
And speak your truth. Never be afraid to basically speak how you feel, how you and what are you feeling, because you're obligated to feel how you feel. That is your emotions, but also speak the truth, and staying engaged. I think I can say all of them. Yeah, staying engaged. Basically, you gotta stay engaged when you have a conversation with your partner, your
Absolutely.
partner, friend, any conversation you have, and it kind of gets uncomfortable. You always want to stay engaged. I learned like stuff like this as far as like in psychology class, about how
Mhm.
you can like look at people and tell if they're engaged or not. So
Mhm.
you don't want to basically give off a bad vibe or a bad basic conversation when you talking to somebody. So staying engaged would be one. And the
Yeah.
last one, I can't see the first word because it got your name is high in
Mhm.
the first word, but I can see
It's
intercept non-closure.
expect and accept. Yep.
Okay,
None.
expect and accept non-closure. Yes, all the time.
Yes.
Um, like every art. Okay, every I'm not pinpointing anything out, but if you in a basic thing is you in a relationship in this, if you're in a relationship, you guys probably understand. when you get in an argument with your significant other or your partner, whatever the case may be, not that argument is not going to be finished and settled by end of the night. You got to expect and accept the non-closure of the argument. You got to accept that that person is still gonna feel how the way they feel, but it's not just gonna be over completely. It's gonna take them time.
Yes.
Just like shout out to Sydney, but like healing takes time. So you got to expect
Yes.
and accept the non-closure of your feelings being hurt at the relationship, or you saying something from your significant other that you didn't want to see. You got to accept that non-closure of that feeling that you had, because it's not just going to change overnight. It's not just going to go to sleep and you wake up the next morning and everything is going to be over. That's also when you experience a discomfort, and that's also when you got to speak your truth and how you feel, and then stay engaged with that conversation to accept the non-closure.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So it sounds like all four of them is a go for you, and
Yeah.
all four of them is a go for me. What's happening in the chat?
Yes. Oh, Zion was like, I just did that yesterday. I was so mad at myself because I worked so hard to stop shutting down in conversations.
Mm,
She was like, speaking my truth, but not in a rude way, if that makes sense, and accept the non-closure. And then Miss Kay Davis was like, she said, speak your truth.
speak your truth. Powerful. So I
Wow.
just wanted to invite us to hold on to one of these or all of these as we navigate the space together. And even as you find yourself going through our other meetings, or maybe later on tonight or other things tomorrow as well.
Mm,
And it's a way of also allowing yourself to be present and to say that you're not going to allow what's being discussed to take over or devour you, that you're willing to go toe to toe with it and put that conversation in its place and know that it doesn't have to take you out. So
facts, facts. I like that. I like this. You know what I mean? The four agreements. Do I have this PowerPoint? I need this
I
one.
sent it to you.
Yeah, I need this one. Stay engaged, speak your truth, experience.
Yeah,
I'm actually right there on my wall tonight, so thank you for that, Mr. James.
powerful,
I like that one. That's powerful right there.
powerful. So, as was stated earlier, and hopefully the slide will change for the folks that are viewing online. Um, Maybe it won't. Let's
Hold on,
see.
we got one in the chat too. Antonio
Okay.
Young, he said, if you don't speak truth while having a conversation, then you can't get feedback and learn new things.
Mm,
It lets you know that the conversation will stick with you for future references.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Powerful.
thanks. Fact.
Powerful, powerful. And it's just so important, right? And it doesn't have to be, other people don't have to like it.
Mm,
And sometimes it's reflective of maybe where they're at in their own journey. But
mm,
you'd be surprised how, like, how you ever been somewhere and you yell and it echoes. Like, the goal with speaking truth is so that it echoes and it vibrates, because other people need to hear it. Other people need to be in the presence of that truth.
right,
It's
right.
powerful. Powerful. So, as was stated earlier, the purpose was for us to have just a conversation and to chat about mental health and how we can honor our own humanity. And to keep it real, that sometimes there are certain things that inhibit our ability to really take better care of our own mental health. Because there are some things that might plague people of color, or even men particularly, or women in particular, that doesn't really affect other people. And it's not a right or a wrong, but if these are the realities, then that means that we all can't get to healing in one way.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so, in order to get to healing, we have to acknowledge and accept and respect that other people have unique experiences. So, that one foundation that I was hoping we could try to also lay was to introduce a concept of sawubona. As I stated earlier, we did some community conversations last year where we highlighted what Sawubona is, and we counted the narrative. So I'm going to try to click on this link, and we're just going to watch a short clip um, about what Sawubona is.
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute, that didn't work. So I'm going to have to stop sharing that and then reshare.
Yeah, I love this conversation. We got some people in the comments saying they love this conversation, teaching them a lot. It's teaching me a lot too, and it's already, it's basically giving me like a review of some of the things that I already know. So
Yes,
definitely appreciate this as well. And please make sure that we can get your contact information at the end.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to share this video, and then what I want to hear from folks as we listen to the video, I want to hear your reflections, like what stood out to you. Even if you didn't agree with it, that's totally okay, right? Because that's the beauty of conversation and learning.
Salvano is one of the primal words when people were still able to really see each other. In fact, the word says, we see you. So it's not a single I person, that my eyes are connected to a dimension of reality we call ancestors. So my seeing includes my ancestors. My seeing also includes the divinities that are part of the celestial spheres of reality. So Salmona says, "We see you." And the response is, "Yebo Salmona, yes, we see you too." Because it's a dialogue. Seeing is a dialogue. It establishes you as a witness to some phenomenon that can also be a witness to your own presence. But when two human beings meet in this gesture of Saubona, the acknowledgement is we see each other. That becomes an agreement because we're obligated from that point to affirm the reality that seeing has empowered us to investigate our mutual potentials for life. So it invites us to communicate. Why are we, if we're seeing each other, why are we um, here at the same time? What is this moment of time given us to be able to do? So it's an invitation to participate in each other's life. Seeing Sawubona also obligates a person to give to each other what's needed for that moment of life to be enhanced. For me, now seeing represents the question, how can I be, or how do I have to be in order for you to be free? Because I think our present civilization has taken away freedoms from human beings, not because one culture oppressed another, but because we lost the imagination of what sight meant, of what these inner capacities really mean. So for me, it's important to reestablish the question: how do I have to be as a human being for someone else to be free? You tell me, and I would explore that possibility because I think inwardly we all know what the prerequisites are for our own freedom. It's a type of consent. It's a type of agreement we need in order to exercise freedom. We can't do it out of self-interest. Freedom can't be pursued out of self-interest. Freedom must be a mutual gift from one human being to another, recognizing that if I limit one person's freedom, I limit my own. That we can't take away something from someone that is so mutually tied to the state of existence. Freedom is not from something or to achieve something. It's the freedom to be present with.
To be free.
Yes. So, what were you saying, Coach
I
Johnson?
said to be free.
To be free. Yes. So what stood out for folks? Like what did you take away from that?
For me, like I said, like to be free. You know, he was speaking about a lot of about being having freedom and for like basically like individuals and to other people as well. And you know, for me, for like being free is being able to. I'm not even saying not even as simple as being able to decide my own decisions because I can do that. I can do that, but like being able to decide on decisions that can impact me for the rest of my life. And as far as like going to college and making your stand, keeping your major, because I don't know if a lot of we have a lot of high schoolers in here as well. So guys, like I was saying, like when you get to high school, you find out for the school, you find out for like what college you want to go to, you go to college. Like the first 2 years, you won't have a major, but that junior year, that senior year is when you have to find that major, and that's really hard. And like you might think, whereas though you want to be something as like a lawyer or a doctor, but then when you get to college, that can change completely. So being able to basically be free and make my own decisions to basically for that can impact me for the rest of my life. And Zion said how to free yourself mentally so you can be free physically, so you are able to make the decisions you need to be successful. Miss Kate Davis said, right. He was talking about freedom and having decisions. Gemma said being able to be me unconditionally and freely and making choices that align with my purpose. I like that one, Gemma.
Yes.
Always you always a path in your purpose. So I like
Yes,
that one.
absolutely. You know, one of the other things that stood out was he said that seeing is a dialogue. And
Back.
how many of you have found yourself in interactions with people where they might say one thing, that they see you, they respect you, but their actions dictate something totally different? And so it makes me think that as we all journey as a community, whether you're from Baltimore or not,
Back.
how do our actions and how we show up with each other actually dialogue to people and tell people whether we see them, we respect them, we honor them, and we want them to be whole and have a healthy, happy mental health. And so
Mhm.
that was something that also stood out. And so that the other thing that I really found powerful about this was because sometimes, you know, we can get caught up in addressing mental health and wellness, but sometimes do we need to take a step back, or have you found yourself needing to take a step back to say, hey, does this really honor someone? Have I really heard them, or am I just, you know, projecting what I think needs to happen? And so I just wanted to put that out there, because it's about a dialogue. It's about seeing each other. It's about seeing sometimes, not just the positive, but we see the challenges that people experience. And when we see their challenges, we can see that, okay, something happened to you, and this is maybe why you're showing up the way that you are. It makes me think about, like, with community based violence, right? Sometimes, you know, people say hurt people hurt people. And so it doesn't excuse what is taking place, right? But if we can see that maybe someone was violent towards someone else, maybe that's why there's a cycle of it. And some may say, well, hey, I'm not doing it, so why are they doing it? But if we take a moment to understand that the way that things impact each of us is different, we can begin to anchor ourselves and say, hey, how can we show up as a people, to really support each other? So I'm just curious, like maybe some other thoughts that are in the chat.
Uh, Miss Kate Davis said actually they say one thing and they do another as far
Mm,
as like with people, and I agree with that. I don't know if it's what's that word that describes that say one thing and do another.
like hypocrite.
There we
Is it
go. That's the word, hypocrite. Yeah, hypocrite. Yeah. You'll find a lot of those going on down in your lifespan. So definitely have that. Cam says definitely always a reason why. Facts. Always a reason why. Always a
always
reason why.
reason?
Always a
Reason.
reason why. And speaking, another thing I got it from that is speaking freedom upon someone else.
Mm,
And by meaning with that is speaking into existence, but speaking it over them as well, in
mhm.
all positive aspects and all positive vibes as well. But but more as just speaking in the blessings of someone else. So
Yeah,
not only that you're free mentally and physically, but you're free spiritually as well.
powerful, powerful. And so the whole purpose of showing that video was for that to be a foundation. It makes me think about, for anybody that's really into makeup, right? Like you put some kind of primer or something on first, right, before you put other things on, right?
Right.
So the goal is hopefully that this would be the foundation that we lay together in this evening, this time that we have together, on as we move on to unpacking the definition of mental health. But because I believe in the asset base, I am hoping that we'll close out together and be able to identify ways that will honor our own humanity. So, because I know sometimes we might be like, hey, I never really thought about how I could honor my own humanity. I wanted to at least put that out there so people can begin thinking. So, I did want to take us into, as I said, let's talk about unpack mental health, the definition of it. So, I actually, let me see if I could pull this up. I found the definition on the World Health Organization's website. And I just kind of wanted us to walk through it. So let's see. I know it's probably a time lag on the screen as well. So we're going to give it just a moment to pop up.
Definitely. The
Are you?
unpack mental health and humanity.
Yes. Um, so has the slide showed up for mental health, the definition of mental health?
No, we can't even see. I don't think your screen's not shared in the morning.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta share your screen one more time.
Okay. Let me try that. Let's go here. Okay.
There we go. Mental health.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we should be good to go on that. So, according to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her own community. So, my question to the people is, what often becomes a normal stress for some groups of people compared to others? And then what does it mean if we struggle to, why should we have to cope with that normal stressor? So, for example, one thing that stands out to me is what has become a normal stressor in life is systemic and racial oppression. But why would you want to cope with that, what has become normal?
Yep.
Because it is abnormal,
Yep.
um, and it is not unique to all peoples.
See,
So, what does it mean when you can't cope with that normal stressor? And what does that mean for the state of your own mental health? So, I'm just curious, like maybe Coach Johnson, your thoughts on that, or
yes, and it's actually funny because this is my book, Martial Cultural Psychology, and we just had an exam on like racial like what's that word? Pre,
prejudice?
there we go. I keep messed that word up. Prejudice, microaggression, micro insult, racial, what kind of racist it is. So by you just bringing this up, it's kind of just bringing me back to like when I had to take that exam, and
Mm,
far as like with like the different types of like micro insults and microaggression, and the micro invalidation, and and stereotyping, and just all of that as like a institutional effect. It kind of like it forms around to like the black into the black society, African
mhm.
American society. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna touch on the male's perspective because I feel
Okay,
my perspective.
please,
But
please.
when I'm gonna give some day-to-day stressors for like black men. Um, Not all black men have a waste to that job. So now they got to struggle and find out how they get back and forth to that job. Then they working long hours. Jim said in the chat, death in Baltimore is a normal stressor.
Wow.
Basically stressing and making sure that your family is safe when they walk out the door, and then you may and that you can make sure that they can come back home at that nighttime. Breeze, she said also, I feel as though that parents being toxic is kind of a stressor. Yes,
Mm,
by having a toxic parent, a toxic household definitely can put a lot of stress on your body as well. In
absolutely.
school, Baltimore City in particular, because Baltimore City public schools, is not the best curriculum they have, but it's what we got. And by just learning that basic, information that we learning from the curriculum, and by not also having the teachers that actually want to profound in us and actually want to give us extra lectures and extra help, that put a stressor on us when we had to take those high tests like the ACT or the SAT,
Mhm.
and we get the
Yeah,
scores that we get, and then our dream is from going to like Harvard or Yale or like Spelman and things like that are come down because we're not basically taught the things that we need to be taught for the SAT and stuff like that.
that's
Antonio, and it's a lot going on in the chat with this question.
okay.
Antonio said the amount of death in Baltimore don't make sense, bro. Shaking
Mm,
my head. Yes.
mm,
K. David
mm.
said it said. K. David said, um, "Men us black have to us black men has to stick together and stop the violence." I believe that in the drama in schools is sad. Yes, and speaking about a drama, not even just speaking about drama, but also the violence in the school. Over
Yeah.
the last past about 2-3 years, I didn't see on the news about 3 or 4 times a child bring a gun to school, or
Mm,
someone has been shot in school, or someone is getting beat up brutally in school. And
yeah.
a lot of this in school affect back to what you said earlier about the community and community violence, but now we have to also think about the school violence as well, because you have students from different neighborhoods coming into one school. You guys say finish Frederick Douglass. I'm gonna use Frederick Douglass. That's who I went at and graduated. I'm a proud alumni from there. But Douglass, you got Cherry Hill, Park
Yeah.
Heights, Westport, Milford Mill, Emerson Avenue, Bentlow. Like you have all of those neighborhoods coming into one school, and you like it's like you
Mm,
can't expect it to be violence. Okay, yes, you give them when they come in, they gotta go through a metal detector, but you don't think that gives them a type of micro insult. You know, you're insulting that small, that minority group, and basically saying like you don't trust them. It's like my school doesn't trust me because of one person. But it's also not even as looking at the school don't look at it as we don't trust the students. The school looking at it as we trying to protect the students because this happened and so and this happened. But it's also you got to look at it as everybody don't have that mindset. Everybody don't see the situation from the same perspective. So they look at it as, oh, these schools don't trust us, or this, or what we say now these days, the school's doing too much, stuff like that. In the drama in schools, like it's a lot of drama that
Yeah.
partakes into school. Like the drama will happen in school, and then it will rail out into the streets, and
Right.
then you get the teenage pregnancies, or you get the teenage deaths, or sometimes even the teenage suicides because of the bullying and things that's going on inside of the school. So you guys also got to realize, like the things that go on in school, you might think, oh, like just because I'm going to school, like she messing with this person, or this person said something about this person, but everything that happens inside of that school, you don't know how that affect that person when they leave that school. So no, that
Right.
mental health is kind of more going into like a decompromission, because they're more feeling as though like that's that like sometimes I know for me school can be my safe place. So if I'm coming to my safe place, I'm coming to like my home, my feast, my house basically, and I'm getting bullied and I'm getting tortured and I'm getting smoke what's the metal detectors, and I'm saying people bringing guns to school. How would you think that would feel? How do you think that would affect some of my mental health? That's when like PTSD come into play and things like that. So yeah.
Coach Johnson, as you share that, and as folks are putting stuff in the chat, the reality of it is that there's so many traumatic experiences that aren't just typical traumas or life experiences, right? There's some things that are socially engineered, that are intentionally orchestrated and designed to inhibit each of our ability to just really be able to realize our own potential, or can work productively, right? But it doesn't have to end there. And so the whole purpose with us unpacking this definition together was to acknowledge that although some individuals, some institutions will give a general blanket definition on what mental health is, if we really acknowledge the socially engineered traumas and some day-to-day lived experiences that we unfortunately have become desensitized to, or normal stressors, we'll begin to acknowledge that, hey, the path towards our healing and coping strategies is not universal. It's not one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when we talk about what community-centered healing is about, or we talk about healing period, we often eliminate like cultural aspects. We
Right.
often don't even acknowledge sometimes that the stripping and ripping us of elements of our culture, right, or having to abandon it once you even go into a public school, is a part of a traumatic experience, because you have to conform in one environment and then you get to be yourself once you're outside of school. And so that was really the purpose with this, for us to acknowledge like, hey, there are a lot of definitions on what mental health is and what it means to be whole, but there are a lot of things that aren't being factored in. The things that have become normal stressors and the socially engineered traumas, right? Like community blight and abandoned buildings is a socially engineered trauma. Over policing and adultification of Black children in public schools is a socially engineered trauma. It's not a normal experience. And so when those things happen, how do we begin to take back and heal ourselves? And so how do we also identify ways that honor our own humanity so that we can be whole and have healthy in our minds, not only individually, but for our entire community. And so that brings me to this part. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm good. I just basically want to tap on real quick before you get to the healing strategy.
Yes,
When you
yes.
said that taking our daily stressors, and you also saying like it's not normal. And when you had like our daily stressors now in Baltimore City, it's like it happens so much that it becomes normal to us, and
Yes.
we become numb to the pain of like a death. I can scroll. I don't even follow Murder Inc. anymore. But when I did follow Murder Inc., like I would scroll up and down and be like, a shooting happened in West Baltimore, and it's like I wouldn't feel no remorse for it because it happens every day. Like, or it'd be like, they'd be like a kid, somebody bring a gun to Douglas High School, and I would not feel no remorseful because it happens it happens every day, and it's like you get numb to the pain, and like
Mm,
with the like the government try to do, not even the government, but like like the city as itself, they try to throw the blanket on top of it and basically try to throw like these extracurricular activities or these healing forces or these things to make them try to step in the right direction. But then one thing they also don't incorporate is a lot of youth inside of those communications, I mean, in the conversations in those meetings as well. Like we know we got young elder on the task force,
Mhm.
we have Haya as well. But we
Yeah.
also have like these big meetings for like that go from city to city and state to state, and we talk about how we can help like the community violence, how we can help with these stressors that are turned to normal, and basically how not make them normal as what they are. And we don't have a lot of youth voices coming and talking about that as well.
Mm.
So I just wanted to talk about that. We do
Yes.
got 6 minutes too. I am so
Yeah,
upset
I'm
we got
sorry.
6 minutes, but
No,
let me
this
go back to that. Go ahead.
no. I appreciate it, and I know we're short on time, but um, as I stated earlier, it's important to lay a foundation. All right, let's honor our own humanity. What does it mean to do that? And let's also begin to name and call some of these things out. This isn't just trauma. It isn't just a stress of life. Some things have been normalized by some people, and some things are socially engineered. So if it's socially engineered and it is not a normal stress of life, the pathway to healing is going to be different. So I am a firm believer in writing the vision and make it plain. As I stated, my faith is a big thing to me earlier. And so I want to invite us all to counter the narrative, right? That's power in community conversation. It's power when we come together. It's power when we write the vision and make it plain. So I would like to invite us all to light up the chat on the different ways that you are going to honor your own humanity in a way that supports your mental health and wellness. Why is it important to write it out? Because there might be another brother or sister in this on this call that might say, you know what, I was thinking the same thing, and maybe we need to link up and we can make it happen. Or it might be someone that comes and views this a little bit later on and say, you know what, I'm gonna tap into that and honor my own humanity. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and just hold space for us to just share out.
Yo, this session was one of the most powerful sessions we had. Definitely, guys, light up the chat with your guys' answers. Miss Janine, we would love to have you back. If you would ever come back anytime, like, please let me know. You can have my session, you can have a Cam session. Just basically send us an email, but we would love to get like a part two of this because this session was like phenomenal. I got people in the chat talking about the session was really good. I really enjoyed this. This session is something else. So we really do appreciate you for coming. Um,
Yes.
One thing we do at the end before we get off any Winning Wednesdays, Diamond Thursdays, Focus Fridays is we got to do our jewels. It's basically just like a nice little like 30 seconds to a minute jewel. You say your jewel to the youth, and then I'll say mine, and I'll close out. But if you would like to go ahead and say your jewel, and then please leave us with some information that we can like follow you on, like
Yeah.
Instagram page and things like that. So if people want to connect with you, they can.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say a jewel is use your voice even if it shakes.
Mm, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Use your voice even if it shakes.
I like that.
So yeah.
Like that. And I'm gonna back up with you on that one. I'm gonna back up with you. Use your voice, let it be echo.
Mm.
Let it be an echo
Mm.
to somebody. When you're in that tunnel and you feel like you can't, use that voice as an echo. Because I promise
Absolutely.
you, someone else gonna hear it. And you never know when the other person when they might hear it, what that can do to them. How it can affect them later on in the long run. So
Absolutely.
this, yeah, that's my jewel. Again, Mr. Neem, please let us know how we can follow you and get in touch with you as well. If you want
Mhm.
to put anything in the chat, let us know.
Yeah. I can put my email if folks
Okay.
want to reach out. So do I just add it in here
Yeah, just
or
no, add into the YouTube chat. Yeah, you have the YouTube put up, or
yes?
you can
Okay.
just say it. And one of our heartbeats will basically put it in the chat for us.
Okay. It's G Godsey GODSEY at blackmentalhealth.com. So let me also, because I know it's a little bit.
Okay, y'all make sure y'all get that. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well too. Say it so you said it again for us.
Yes, G
Mhm.
Godsey GODSEY. Um, yes, Kim, I think
Cam,
you.
yeah, Cam got it. See, Cam got it.
Thank
Told you.
you.
I knew Cam was going to do it. She always got his down pat. LOL.
Absolutely. And Coach Johnson, in the slides, there's also a resource slide that has where if folks want to get connected to Black Mental Health Alliance, our newsletter, so you can
Mm-hmm.
stay in tune with future community conversations. Because right now, what we're building out is to hold these types of conversations. Last year, we did them primarily for 21217, but we want to open it up to the city and to begin to counter the narrative. We're hoping to talk about stuff like state sanctioned violence or workplace violence, school violence. We want to counter the narrative. We don't just want to name what is bad that's happening. We do want to counter the narrative and
Mm-hmm.
do it from a healing centered approach. And so we would love to get that information out to you all. And so, yes. And we also have a database if people would like to get connected with a therapist. So we have an extensive database where you fill out a confidential referral form, and a member of our team will follow up with you via email in about like 2 days with possible therapists. Another thing that Miss Nia has started to launch through her conversations with Miss Joni
Mm-hmm.
is wellness check-ins. So
Yep.
some could connect with myself or they could connect with Miss Nia. It's not to be therapy, but it's to also, it's almost like a support. Like, let's say you're like, hey, I'm really looking for a job, or I want to identify some action steps for myself. It's a little bit different than talk therapy. And it also serves as a bridge to get you to therapy if that's what you so choose.
Hey, and I'm not even gonna sit up here in front. I'll be talking to Miss Nay every week. Like every week. So look, y'all definitely know it. Y'all definitely go in and tap in with Miss Janine, and also with Miss Nia as well. It's also good and going this also will go good and collab with Healing for Lions as well. That's why I know Miss Nia and like Mr. Dr. Richard and everything like that, and Dr. K as well. So again, thank you, Miss Janine.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming. A powerful session. It is 7 o'clock. So
Yes.
y'all know next week is Cam coming on. She said her Morehouse brother Zuri is coming on. She was gonna do like a free flow conversation. So if anybody got any specific questions or topics, y'all go ahead and y'all let Cam know. But it's out for me. I appreciate you guys for coming. Happy
Have a good,
Wednesday. You guys have a great rest of you guys' week.
good night.
Good night. See you guys later.